Movie Time's back. We're live again, once again. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Martial Arts Movie Mondays. We apologize that I wasn't here last week. I had a massive art deadline. Life got in the way. Just couldn't do it. I was going to try to do a makeup show. I was going to do a dual show. Then I just thought, you know what? Let's just do the show that I played last week today, and we'll move forward like it never happened, even though I just mentioned it. Down here, you may see periodically, I got my today's co-host, Vader, my partner in crime dog. He may pop his head up. So I'll warn you ahead of time, so in case you see a beast come shooting up, you won't freak out. So if you've never seen this show before, we take a deep dive into one of my movies from my collection up here. I have probably about a row and a half, if not 2 rows, that are nothing but just martial arts flicks of all different ranges between Asian cinema, American movies, anything you can think of in between. Good ones, bad ones. Some of them I'll keep if there's one awesome fight in there. Sometimes I'll keep the entire movie just to watch that fight over and over. And we like to talk about the movie itself, what I think about it, maybe some behind-the-scenes stories, what its new releases, and then also to how it impacted my own martial arts journey leading into my life now as an instructor and full-time martial artist. So today we're doing a special one. They're really all special if you want to get technical. Apologize, I got something in my throat today, so I may have to stop with water or whatever. But today we're doing one. It's a different kind of movie. It's a little bit martial arts. It's a little bit of a fantasy. It's a little bit of a comedy. And it's a lot ridiculous. And I'm talking about the 1986 classic Big Trouble in Little China, John Carpenter's opus to martial arts and fantasy, and one that has Kurt Russell and the most quotable lines you've ever seen, the Pork Chop Express. So this movie, if you don't know about this movie, first of all, shame, shame, shame. It is such a fun movie. There'll be some people that say it's not a good movie, it's just a blast. I think it has every element that you could want. Outside of John Carpenter directing it, outside of Kurt Russell starring in it, you also have, let me see who all the people, make sure I make them names. You got Kim Cattrall in it, who at the time I think was mostly known for like Porky's. This was kind of a different movie for her. You have, of course, it doesn't have anybody else on this thing. Let me pop it up. I already have it ready for you just in case. We've got Dennis Dunn, who I believe his character was originally, they wanted Jackie Chan for the role. But then they didn't, the studio, from what I remember hearing, the studio didn't like that Jackie Chan couldn't speak very good English. And with The Protector and the Battle Creek Brawl, they just thought, nah, he wouldn't be very good in the movie. He would have been awesome in this movie. So instead, they got Dennis Dunn. We got James Hong, who James Hong's always awesome in everything. He plays Lo Pan, the bad guy. You got Victor Wong, he played Egg Shen, who was just the most, he was such a great actor, and so recognizable because he had this noticeable face. I'm not sure if he had a stroke or something that made him kind of like this. It looked like it, but it gave you so much character. It was just one of those that just worked so well. Excuse me. Then you had like a slew of who's who in the martial arts industry. Most of them are people that the average viewer, the average person didn't know anybody, who they were. Some of them were just getting started. What are you doing? He's got to get himself as comfortable as possible. Some people were just getting started in their career. Some people were more known for just stunts, so you didn't really know who they were. Some have been on straight to video movies. It's a whole different variety of them. If you're a martial arts guy, it was kind of a who's who from James Liu, who's like one of the top choreographers in Hollywood right now. I think he's building up. He did a lot of movies as villains and things like this. Carter Wong, Peter Kwong, James Pax, I believe is one of them. Eric Lee. One of my personal favorites, Al Leong, which Al Leong is probably the most notable, recognizable henchman from the 80s and 90s. He was in Lethal Weapon. He was in, good Lord, almost anything you can think of, he showed up. He had the big bushy mustache, long hair, kind of the receding hairlines. He had a big forehead, but he was just badass kung fu guy. They all show up in this movie, and I remember I didn't know their names at the time when the movie came out. It was the 80s, obviously. I was a little late to the party when I saw it, but it was still in the 80s. And I remember recognizing, oh, that dude's cool, that dude's cool. But even more so recognizing him later when I saw other stuff going, oh my God, that guy's in big trouble. Oh my God, that guy was in big trouble. There's a sequence in this. If you've never seen it, again, you need to check it out. It's ridiculous fun. But there's a scene in an alley, which is the biggest kung fu battle in the movie, and it's probably the best one. It is so awesome. It was one of those that I just was blown away as a kid. As a little martial arts kid at the time, I'd lost my mind, right? I saw it. I'm like, this is awesome. And they every time somebody kicks someone's ass, knock somebody out, or beat somebody, this little clan of warriors, or whatever you want to call them, that are in the movie, they would look at each other and they would be like, do this thing, right? And this was kind of their symbol of saying, high five, if you will, or showing their clan and whatever. And so I know me and friends, we would do that. We would be play fighting or whatever, to be doing this to each other. So it became a thing for all. And even in my Taekwondo class, we'd be doing stuff, and we'd finish doing a drill or something like that, and we'd always get in trouble because we'd throw this symbol out. My instructor's like, "Would you stop that?" He knew what it was. He told me, like, the movie is awesome. I've seen it too, but you got to stop it, because he used to go to, I believe it was the Texas Theater, and they always played a lot of kung fu movies and stuff. So he was always going down there and watching them. So anyway, but this movie, they just re-released it. Shout Factory. If you have ever seen our show, my wife, if I say Shout Factory, usually screams shout. So I had to pause, even though she's not here to do it. They just released this collector's edition. Kurt Russell is awesome in this movie. He's kind of got a John Wayne cadence the way he speaks. He's like, "This is Jack Burton and the Pork Chop Express." It's just this over-the-top, ridiculously awesome performance. And he was kind of bumbling like an everyman, but he's a hero, but he's not. He's really more of a sidekick to the main guy, who is like the awesome kung fu fighter. The awesome one is you also have the what do they call them? The Three Thunders, I think it is, or something like that. But you have, like, rain and lightning and thunder. Anyway, and I remember I was obsessed with those three guys, and I know, like, Raiden or whatever is one of his name based on. Raiden was based on the guy from the movie. James Hong is the basis of the character, whatever, Shang Tsung or whatever. But I remember seeing those guys and just, oh my God, seeing them with their using their powers and seeing their abilities, kind of making them superhero or super villains, but kung fu people at the same time. My mind just exploded. I'm like, how is this even possible or allowed? I don't think this is something you're supposed to see, because it wasn't like anything I'd see. I'd seen. I've been watching karate movies since I was still little at the time, right? I was born in 1974, so we have 1986, so I wasn't a big kid, but I was old enough that I'd started discovering kung fu theater, and some I could watch, some I couldn't, and I remember when I finally saw this movie. I don't even remember when, because it was later. It wasn't at the time, but I'm pretty sure it was before, within time, because I don't think I saw this one at the theater. I saw this one in, I want to say it was either on TV or at a friend's house or something. Hold on. Someone's messaging me nonsense. Oh, that's not right. Hold on. Anyway, so maybe I did see it at the theater. I don't remember. I think I saw it with a friend, but I don't think it was the theater. I think I saw it at his house. So I don't know if it was VHS or whatever. So, I was probably 12 years old, I think. 11 or 12 when it came out. So it may have been maybe 14 or 15 by the time I saw it. So I was older. I wasn't a little kid, but I was older when I finally saw it. But it was just one that I remember. It didn't so much impact me as a martial artist like a lot of the movies have. It impacted me more as a creative person in my artwork or in writing, because I started seeing two things fused together with, and I know this wasn't the first movie to do it. That's just one of the first ones I saw, but infused stuff that I'd seen in a video game, and not knowing at the time that it might be based on it, or things that didn't seem to go together, like martial arts and, magic powers and superhero type stuff and wacky comedy and stuff. I wasn't heavily into the Jackie Chan stuff yet, so I didn't realize that world. I hadn't seen the various Sammo Hung and Jackie Chan and those movies where they had fused those two together. It was just something new. It blew me away. And then when I found out after seeing it, then I learned that the guy that directed is the same one that made Halloween, and I'm like, what? So that confused me. I was like, is that even possible? And so anyway, it's such a great, fun movie. I revisit it all the time. I'll just throw it in. It's got some crazy effects. It is dated a little bit when you watch it now, because the effects are great, but you can see, like most older films, you can see the effects and kind of how they did some of the stuff, which is kind of part of the charm. But the comedy's there. But one of my favorite things has always been also in the final sequence when Jack is doing the knife throwing. But when Lopan is like using his fingernails, shooting his lasers, I just thought it was so clever. And I've done all that stuff as a kid. After seeing the movie, I would do things. I'd be all like, my mom didn't know what I was doing. She thought I was crazy. She still does. But the action, the martial arts is great in the movie. It was well done. For a movie like this, especially with like somebody like a John Carpenter or something, I wouldn't have expected a great martial arts flick, but it is. I know it's not full on constant, but there's a lot of martial arts in it, a lot of Asian influence stuff in it, and it just works as a whole for me. So I love this movie. I do want to kind of point out this new edition. This is the Shout Factory edition, like I mentioned. It's a new collector's edition. It's only been out for a couple of weeks, but it offers up all kinds. It's like 2 discs. It's got, like, I think all the old stuff, like the trailers and the commentaries and things like that. But it also has new interviews. Who's the interviews from? Let's see. It's got new interviews from Dennis Dunn, James Hong, Peter Kwong, Donald Lai, some producers and choreographers, James Liu. It's got new commentaries with some of the effects people. But it's got a slew of stuff of just different interviews and extended endings and gag reels and all kinds. So this is like a cool little set that has everything on it. It's got this cool new cover. And usually with Shout Factory, they like to put in, like, if you take the disc out, if you've never seen one of their products, it actually has, you can take the insert out and flip it, and it has the original box art and the original backing here. So if you wanted to take it out and you wanted it to look like the old version, you could take this out and flip it over, stick it back in. But it's got 2 discs. It's got bonus features on one, a feature film on the other one. I think they remastered it. Let me see. Maybe they didn't on this one. I don't know, but it's got all kinds of vintage bonus content with their featurettes and stuff, but also new stuff. But it's such a great movie. There was supposed to be a sequel to this. There's an I don't remember if it's after credits or just the end of the movie. I think it's after credits, where this creature that's in the movie comes back and lets you know, okay, but apparently I don't think it did well enough for them to do a follow-up. So sadly, we never got our sequel. But there has been talks of, there was an announcement a year or 2 ago, and who knows if it'll ever get made, but that they were remaking this movie with Dwayne Johnson, because he's on everything now. And then something, people complain because this is one of those movies that does not need to be remade. But then there was talks that it's not going to really be so much of a remake as a sequel or a reimagining. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, if it ever is going to happen, if it's died now. I do hope that if they ever do anything with this, we're living in a world where they're revising shows and movies and things like this. This is what I'd like to see Kurt Russell come back for, the old Kurt Russell come back to haunt him, because especially with his beard. But I'm interested if The Rock did it, what he would do with it and how they would update it. And he's worked with with Russell on the Fast and Furious stuff, so there's no reason he couldn't come back. So we'll see. If you've never seen Big Trouble in Little China, you need to check it out. If you have seen it, grab this copy of it, because it's a great copy. It's a great little movie. I love it. Not so much, like I said, impact on my martial arts life, but impact on me as just great comedy and infusion of different genre styles that I didn't think people did at that time, and now become one of my favorites. And I love it. Now I'm probably back. Now I'm reminding myself I'm probably walk around doing this to people again. Nobody will know what I'm talking about except for a handful. So that's going to be it for today. So today's movie, Big Trouble in Little China, collector's edition, in store now. It's from Shout Factory. There's also a DVD version that's been out. There's another Blu-ray version, I think. This is the newest version right here from Shout Factory. So you look for the Shout logo on the side, or this version of the cover, because they're the only ones going to have that cover, and grab your copy of it. In stores everywhere now. Don't forget, tomorrow we're having an all-new episode of TV Tuesdays. But don't forget, we will be doing it at night because we are having, or we will be at a screening for a certain science fiction movie that's coming out this week. It's a smaller budget movie. Maybe you've heard of it. It's about some space battles and walking carpets and things like that. Then we'll be back for another episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live on Sunday right here on this YouTube channel, as well as over on our Facebook page. And we'll be talking about said movie, as well as Bombshell and a few other things. So it looks like it's be a fun movie. We'll be coming live from the Star Wars studio here at Blakey Manor. So please, please, please don't forget, check out our pages, our Facebook page, Hollywood Matrimony. We have a Twitter at Hollywood Matter, M-A-T-R, because this is the only characters they can give us. We have an Instagram page, Hollywood Matrimony. We're everywhere, yet we are nowhere all at once. We also have this YouTube channel, so make sure you hit that YouTube subscribe button, share with your friends, hit the orb up here if it's there, hit the trailer up here if it's here. If it's not there, then I didn't do my job, and just hit the normal subscribe button. All right? Head over to our website. We got a couple of contests. We're giving away Fandango tickets for Star Wars Rise of the Rise of Skywalker. They are not screening passes. They are tickets. The codes that you basically buy a ticket of $15 worth that are good until like March 20th. So you can still go see it anytime. So if you've already going to see it, you've already got tickets, but you want to see it again and you don't have the money or you don't want to spend the money, go enter my contest and you have a chance to win. I have a little stack of them so a lot of people can win. All right. It's at HollywoodMatrimony.com. Thank you, everybody, once again. I will see you next week for all new episode of Martial Arts Movie Mondays. Remember, keep your hands up. Peace to one another. Goodbye.